So, hey, everybody, welcome to the Wednesday workshop with eLearning Coffee Break, the eLearning Coffee Break crew. We are minus Susan, but she has definitely been a part of the eLearning Coffee Break crew. I do want to basically say that Jeremy and I, when we were talking about this, we were talking about making it as open as possible. And that means if you've got like an idea or something, or you come here and you're like, look, I know that you two talked about something you were going to do, but right now I'm having this problem in my class and I need it fixed, then speak up, because the idea is that we're going to work on stuff right now in real time, and maybe we can't come up with an answer, but we can say, okay, well, we'll take a look at that and see what we can get you. And really, as all of us pull together and do our best effort to come up with solutions to problems, then we might see some of these pain points that we experience start to fall away a little bit. At least, hopefully that's the plan.
It's a great plan.
Yeah. So, Patrick, thanks for speaking up. So, I mean, I guess I would want to start off by saying, hey, like what specifically you, Patrick, I'm picking on you. What is a cool thing that you have found, or what is a pain point that you have, or right. I mean, more recent is better too.
More recent. Okay. Shall I screen share it all, or?
Yeah. Let me turn mine off. Okay. Take it away.
I'll try to go quickly. So what I found is probably with all math students, but especially online math students, there's not much value in them just giving them homework questions, like, and say, hey, I wonder, can you do this? You know? Like, and they're on their own, they're isolated. And what I actually found a lot of value in is, host disabled participant screen sharing.
Sorry. I just don't trust you.
That's okay. Is it screen sharing is disabled, is it?
Jeremy, are you working on that, or do I find it?
Let me see what the participant settings are. Let me just to make Patrick a...
Oh, here we go. Yes, I win. I found it first. Okay.
All right. So let's see here. All right. Let me go there, I guess. Okay. So let's say I'm in one of my math classes, and this is what lesson we're doing today. And, you know, we've got lesson, textbook homework, that type of thing, quiz. But I have this thing called homework sharing, where I have answers and classmates have answers, right? And so students get extra credit for just taking a picture of the work and posting it in here, right? Because nice. Like in a math class, before, like the students that do well, like they're always, you know, they help each other with their homework. They talk about it in the hallways before class, after class, and so on. So like, let's recreate that same service online. And so like, and if I was teaching a math class, students would be like, okay, you know, I tried the homework and I couldn't do question 2. Show me how to do that. And I do question 2 on the board and so on. So this is, you know, these are my questions here. So anyway, yeah, so that's just homework sharing. But again, it's going back to, you know, thinking about how are my students, what difficulties are they having online, but also what happens in a classroom class, like, you know, so that's been a great thing, because I mean, I can't emphasize enough. And my students are totally online, which is a little bit different than, you know, if you've got a synchronous class and you're all meeting at 10 o'clock, right? But the point is, you know, they've all different work schedules. You got state troopers, you got nurses, you got people working grave shift, you got single parents. They have all sorts of different schedules, and they need asynchronous help. Like, so sometimes they'll be on there and they'll be talking about a problem together, but they talk, and sometimes I'll do entire videos of the homework questions. Like I'll just do the homework in these little videos and just stick them on there, just like if I was in a class and they tried the homework and they come into class and I couldn't do those, and so we did them together on the board, you know. So, and in the video I'm saying things like, okay, like, let me start you out. Now press pause in the video and like try to do it yourself. But like, I'm not just doing it, you know. And I've never had a student who just like copied everything down. I mean, they, for their own, self-esteem, they want to try to get them right on their own first, and then check the answers. I mean, it's kind of like what I do with my own kids. I mean, they never, when I teach my kids math, they, they never get stuck on a homework problem. I mean, they try it, but then if they can't do it, I give them help, right? So
Right.
anyway, so that's help. But and the other thing I have tried is weekly meetings, which are still a kind of a flop. I mean, I really enjoy them, but they're still kind of a flop because what happens is the students who don't need help show up, right? So I have these weekly chats where we're supposed to get on Zoom like at this time, 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, and we have a chat about the concepts we covered this week and so on, like how does this apply to your life, all that type of thing. We might go over any questions anyone have. What happens is the students are already on schedule and are on top of everything, and they've already asked me for help if they needed it. They show up. There's nothing to talk about. I mean, I'm being a little bit dramatic, but it's kind of like that. So again, yeah, it's a bit of a flop, and so maybe I'm still thinking about maybe having like a day, called Tuesday check-in. So like from 10 in the morning to like 10 at night, every single student needs to just check in, and if they don't, they get in big trouble. Something like that. I don't know, but this is working kind of, but it's not working like I wanted it to work. So anyway, so that's enough for me. I better stop talking. I never stop. So.
Yeah, so there's some really good stuff there. Thank you for sharing, Patrick. I'm wondering, does anybody like Christy Schnadel? I don't think I've met you yet. Hi, I'm Ralph in the IT department.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So are you faculty?
No, I'm the assistant to the vice president of instruction.
Okay, awesome.
So I just wanted to join to kind of get to know how you guys use the systems.
Well, nice to meet you, and I'm going to pick on you next because I don't know you. Do you have any? So, did you hear what Patrick was saying about the students? He holds these online sessions. Students who don't need the help show up,
right?
And the students who do need the help are fading back into the bushes like that Homer Simpson gif. So, what do you think of? What comes to your mind when you hear this problem?
Well, when I was hearing him talk, I actually just was thinking of when I was in college, and that seems to always be the case, because the people who are going to attend extra or optional things are the students who are usually on top of it and who are really actively involved in managing their own learning. So the people who need extra attention, in my opinion, tend to shy away from any public forum or anything that will allow them to be like, oh, actually, I didn't get that. So I feel like probably having, how you said, maybe your other option would be an entire day if someone needs to check in with you. Then they're not calling themselves out, and it gives them an opportunity, like an entire day, to work around their schedule if they're sleeping or working graveyard shift or have kids. So then pop in and say, oh, hey, real quickly, this is where I'm struggling.
Yeah,
I think that's a great idea.
I totally agree. Like, and I do have. I mean, I'm available pretty much any time, and I do call the students that are behind. I call them on the phone and all that. So I have other options as well. But yeah, I'm thinking about just keeping this weekly Zoom thing going, even just for the students that are on top, because usually they're ones I don't get to talk to, right? So usually, like, if I didn't have the Tuesday check-in on Zoom, I would actually be talking to the students that are behind a lot and never talk to the ones that are doing fine. So anyway, but yeah, exactly, it's
well,
good.
If we're brainstorming ideas to get more turnout to show up to these, specifically the students who need the help, I have a suggestion. Now, hear me out. I think you should do a pet of the week. I see some heads turning. You people think I'm crazy. Let me see if I can get my Zoom sharing stuff.
I win them all.
What's that?
You muted yourself.
I would win every week.
Oh, I see. So we just actually just have some bragging going on.
I was like, bring it.
Yeah, exactly. So here's where I'm coming from on that. My experience has been that people want to be seen, even if they're shy or they're nervous. They want the world to notice them in some way. So I have come to believe that digital spaces they need to be like relevant and respectful and helpful and useful, right? Like they need to mean something to you, but that people also want to be seen in those digital spaces. And I say this as somebody who, I mean, my most recent experience is since April, I've been hosting the Thursday Night Gaming. We have over 44,000 minutes of footage that's been watched since then, which is a lot of footage. And I noticed that we perform significantly better in terms of interactions with students and potential students when we call them by name. Like somebody will say something in chat and we say, oh, I see so-and-so said blah, blah, blah. And all I'm doing is mirroring what they said. And their engagement with our broadcast sticks around a lot longer and they come back next week. I took it a step further and I made a Twitch emote for one of our current students. I don't even know her real name. I just know she's a current student. And her name is Tank Loves Potato. So we made a dedicated emote of a potato with a heart on it that represents her. And she ended up giving out gift subs to a couple of people. I mean, her engagement with our program has only been ratcheting up the more that and it costs us nothing to acknowledge people, right? So what I'm saying with Pet of the Week is I don't want to go to a class that I'm already behind in. I want to hide away. But if there's something in there where I can be seen and recognized and where I can put a little bit of myself into it that's kind of fun, Pet of the Week would do that. Say post there's a forum on our class, post your Pet of the Week for this week. We'll spend, about 15 minutes into the hour, we'll go over the Pet of the Week. We'll do a quick vote. And then, and I look forward to celebrating who our Pet of the Week is. And, these are open class hours or something like that, to where you're engaging in. I mean, does that make sense?
Just pet, you mean like a dog or a cat or
a snake or a ferret or a goat?
Or
I'm animal agnostic here, Patrick.
Or your dream pet, if you have any pet that you wanted.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, I mean, the point is to give people an opportunity to share something about themselves so that their peers will see who they are. Yeah. I mean, it's that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Yeah, you know what? One thing that strikes me is it's almost one of the best, because like my class is all set up and it's pretty, the students do fine with the math and the instructions. But what really often makes a difference is if I can just get them talking to me, like if they just tell me a bit about their life and they start saying, I got 3 kids and I got this job and blah, blah. And then once I start listening to that and show them that I care and I really want to get a degree and like, okay, how can we make this work for you? That is just, So, along the same lines of the kind of being seen and being understood. So I do a lot of that. But
I like that a lot, though, Ralph. I think that idea of making some kind of personal connections in there, and it could be Pet of the Week one week, recipe of the week next week, something.
Right. Yeah.
Some sense of. A picture that you took this, go take a picture on your cell phone, and we'll all, it'll be something silly that we can just kind of all kind of get to know each other a little bit better. But you're right. I mean, that kind of those breaking the ice and doing that, doing it more than I try and do it in the beginning, but I kind of forget that it's important to keep doing it. Right.
Right.
And you could switch that up on a weekly or every 2 weeks. Like you said, maybe a picture this week, because I like photography. Maybe somebody else's interests are different. And if you change it up in the middle of a quarter or something to get them all engaged.
Yeah, and I think there's there's a sense, as a content instructor, there's a sense initially that's not valuable, right? Like that I'm doing something that's not, not directly related to the content. And of course, in an in-person class, we waste hours, probably a term, doing those kind of team building kinds of things, or class building things.
I would echo Shiloh on that, and just emphasize that I know you didn't mean it that way, but it's not a waste, right? Because we're building rapport and we're building relationships. And so I would make a point of wasting 5 or 10 minutes at the beginning of every class just to connect with my students, to share a personal story, to listen to their stories. I think these kind of show and tell ideas are great. And I wish I had thought to do those sorts of things with my students when I was in the classroom, because anytime they did have an opportunity to share, they shared really interesting things. They got me into bands that I didn't know that I liked, or they taught me recipes that I didn't know that I liked. And so it was enriching for me, and it really, and they saw the impact that they were having on me and that they were able to have on each other. And it's just a very humanizing way to teach.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely,
I mean, I think that feeds. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no! Just more I think about it, because this is a new world for me, and it's almost like getting the students to build more connections and more together. I mean, my class. I mean, it's very much, and I feel like but my students they really just want to get on there, get my math done, and get out of there. That's kind of the sense I get, and they do and they like it when I make a connection with me, but I haven't really ever explored that much. So I do a little bit of an introduction at the beginning, and they help each other with their homework a little bit, but I haven't really explored that, teamwork and so.
Right.
And I think we're getting different students in here too. I think I would agree with Patrick that of the students that have been taking online only classes up till now, I'd say there's not all of them, but there's a pretty large portion of them that at least think that what they want is to get in there and get those classes done and get out. There's also a certain portion of them that are taking online classes because it's the only thing that fits with what they can take. But I think that as we're moving into, everything is remote.
Right.
We're getting students that, that are hungry for a different kind of experience, and trying to cater to those students that if they were given the opportunity to do the on-campus class, they would. This is a way of, I think, kind of getting at that, and it's also, I think, a way of getting at things that online only students for a long time maybe didn't know that they wanted, but they really probably did want, or didn't know that they needed, and probably did need. So
yeah, I think that's a great point, Shiloh. And there is definitely a different attitude that a lot of folks bring to their online classes. If you are going to an on-campus class, you're a captive audience in the classroom, right? So when there are moments of levity, those are welcome. They're not seen as wasted time necessarily, because you're there anyway. You're not going anywhere else. Whereas if you're talking about your cat while I'm in your online session, I'm not captive. I could be in the kitchen. I could be doing something else. And so there aren't quite as many. You're competing against more distractors with students who are in an online environment. Right. So sometimes it's really difficult to rise above that, particularly if those are really pressing things like, I'm trying to take care of my kids. I have a lot of pressure at work. Just get to the teaching so I can get this done. I think when you establish those sorts of routines as built-ins, rather than just sort of unpredictable diversions, then that helps folks manage that. So if you say, okay, well, for the first 5 minutes, we're just gonna talk about this. So you don't necessarily have to be present for that, but we'd love to see you.
This transition that we're doing, and hopefully we'll flip back in 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or whatever, and we can go back to the way things are. Maybe, I don't know. This transition that we're doing, the thing that it reminds me of is 10 years ago, my youngest son really wanted to play Minecraft. And so we started a Minecraft server, and I'm still running it today. And I've had kids from all over the world who stop by. And one of the first things I found out was that when strangers are in Minecraft, they build offensive structures pretty quickly. And I thought, oh man, I have to take that down, because this is my Minecraft server. I need to be like, what's happening in this digital space, I own it. And I remember being in college and hearing instructors say, well, here's the rules in my classroom, but I don't ever hear anybody taking ownership of their Zoom room. Like, this is my Zoom room, and so everybody's muted until I unmute you. because it's my room. That decision that this is a place where I inhabit and I take full responsibility, as opposed to I'm just using a Zoom room until I can get back in my classroom, because the ownership exists in the classroom, not in this digital space. And my Minecraft server, I have the ownership of it, got a lot easier to run and more fun when I realized that I owned it and I owned all the stuff that happened in it, and I needed to behave that way, and more importantly, put my brain in that posture where I said, okay, since this is my space and I've invited people to come over, I need to have a little bit more hospitality and get them comfortable and greet them and know who they are and talk to them. And more importantly, go over and see what they're building and say, hey, what are you working on? Can I come look at what you're building? And, oh my God, they loved that. That connectivity of a digital space, I think, can happen, but it's definitely a different mindset. I don't know. I guess I want to point over to Trisha. Hey, Trisha. How you doing? How's online stuff working for you? You're still muted.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Online is going well. I've been doing strictly online for 2 years now since I've moved to Puyallup, and each quarter I try to tweak it a little bit. But I really I like the pet idea or pet of the week idea, because when I did teach classes face to face, I always spent time, the kid or the students who would come in early, I would always spend, those 5-10 minutes chatting with people and seeing what was going on in their life and connecting in that way. And I love that idea. So I'm definitely thinking of working on that. One thing that I've been doing the last year is having students choose a goal that relates to student success attributes. And for instance, there's 4 that I particularly focus on, and that's using resources, communicating, being persistent, and also working on their time management. And so at the very first lesson they get is focused on that. And I really try to remind them in my communications with them how their actions or their successes relate to these 4 attributes. And I'm finding that if anything, I'm hoping that, they're becoming more aware that those things are important, whether they really improve or not. But I think, any student that, all of you that teach at an upper, higher level know that those things really are important. And with transitions, I think it is important to focus on the things that make us successful. So that's kind of what I've been trying to work on. I am going to have an opportunity in the fall to do just a strictly online transitions math class, and then like a hybrid Zoom online. So I'll be playing around with that.
Nice, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that's great that you're paying close attention to that. I mean, those sort of dispositional and professional skills are so important, and it's something I haven't thought a lot about, is how much of that gets lost when we're teaching online, and how can we address that. So I'd be really happy to hear about your experiences with trying to address those things, and what's working for you, what's successful, and what do you find you're bumping up against.
Yeah, one thing that I've recently asked, because I normally teach 2 levels of transitions math, and so I've recently asked my Trans 2 math students to respond how they've utilized those traits, because they were obviously successful in Math 1, they've moved on to Math 2, and so I'm been asking them to kind of respond, and my hope is to then, with their permission, use those responses to kind of intersperse in the Math 1 coursework, periodically, like student, this student says they use time management this way, and so on, just to keep a reminder that, these things are really important.
Well, we've got just a little over 15 minutes left. I do want to give a quick demo of Streamlabs because that's what we advertised, and I don't want you people to sue Jeremy for not delivering what we advertised. He's got more affluence, by the way, so do go after Jeremy, not me. Okay, yeah, you're welcome, Jeremy.
Our salaries are public record. I suggest you fact check Ralph on that.
Anyway, yeah, just sue Jeremy. So moving on.
We're just suing Jeremy. So
yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
So Streamlabs is broadcasting software, and I'm just going to show you what it can look like before I do anything else. So you should be seeing that Zoom browser window, right?
Yeah.
That's a yes?
Yes, we have it.
Okay. So I'm going to open up Streamlabs, and the way I'm imagining it, and I'm not an instructor, so I could be totally off base here, but I'm just going to show you how I'm imagining that you could use it in your classes. It should be a picture of me you see now, right? You got my camera?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So I'm imagining that you basically start with some kind of like a waiting room graphic or whatever in your Zoom room. People are muted when they join. They can't unmute or whatever. You do this 10 minutes before class starts, 5 minutes before class starts. And then you can do like hey, welcome to cybersecurity. We're going to be talking a little bit about how not to use a terrible password. It's pretty important. In case you were wondering who I am, I can put a couple of titles on there. I can also say, hey, we're going to be looking a little bit at this PowerPoint. We're also going to be checking out the Canvas class. I can then jump straight into the PowerPoint. I can overlay my camera on the PowerPoint a little bit. We can just jump straight to the Canvas web browsing. Let me see if I can fix that sucker because I resized my window. It's some pretty cool software that lets you basically jump around and do several features like that can speed up your workflow for presentation in a way that Zoom by itself does not. And I did this high quality digital animation here to show you basically how it works.
The animation.
So in the top one, there's the person sitting in front of their computer with a webcam. They open up Zoom and it goes out to people in the meeting. What I'm doing right now is I'm sitting there. I can't read backwards. I'm sitting there with my camera, a web page, PowerPoint, maybe a document camera, going to Streamlabs, which then points to Zoom, which then goes out to everybody. So Streamlabs is the software that's really sitting in front of Zoom. And now I want to talk a little bit about what it is, and I'll put it on the screen so you can see it. You all can see my Streamlabs now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So Streamlabs is pretty straightforward in that it lets you set up a scene and then put stuff in that scene. And then you can switch between scenes. That's really it. So my waiting room is a scene that has some background music, which Trisha let me know was far too loud, so I muted it. It's got this text that says eLearning Coffee Break Crew. It's got the Wednesday workshop. It's got thanks for waiting. And the very bottom layer is just this graphic that I have, this image. So when we're all done with that, I rigged up a cute transition to sort of get your attention. And then it just cuts to a single source, which is my webcam. So there we go with the webcam. If I wanted to do those titles, it's just a different scene that has some more of those text elements. And these things are super simple to add. So I click plus. I say I want to do some more text. I say add source. I want to add a new source, not one that I've already done. Silly statement. And then I'm going to say, I am actually very afraid of werewolves. And yes, I am 43 years old. I don't like that font, so I'm going to use a Google font because there's just a ton of options. I think there's a chiller one. No, there's not. Well, let's see what they've got. Having these text elements just as little pieces of text that you can play with is pretty cool. Let's try that one. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to crank it up so it's crisp, clear font. And then I made it too big. Anyway, You get the idea for the stuff that you can overlay. And, if you wanted to, you can hide that title and then bring it back out when the time is right.
Cool.
With the PowerPoint, all I did was copied this scene and I added the PowerPoint presentation to it. I can put that wherever I want. I can resize it however I want. Tons of stuff you can do with it so that you can make your point. You're still being seen. People are still able to see what you're doing, but then I can also just switch right over to the PowerPoint and work from there. I mean, this may be more complicated than what anybody needs, but I wanted you to see firsthand how easy it is to throw stuff together.
Sure.
Ralph, I have a question.
Sure.
I use a document camera when I'm showing math. Would that be possible?
Yeah. So you can actually hook up multiple cameras to this thing. You just say, add another video capture device. And in this case, I'm working from my laptop here. I've got the built-in camera. I'm just going to slide the little thing open so you can see it. And I'll switch to my second camera here, and you can, don't look at my laundry. So I'll just add that second camera. I'm going to add a new source. I'm going to call it built-in webcam. It's not nearly as nice of a camera. Yeah, there we go. So now I've got my second camera, which could be that document camera. And, you could swap these two scenes, right? The document camera is the background and the picture of you is or something else, the Canvas web page or whatever else is the picture in picture. And, jump back and forth between the two of them.
So Ralph, in doing, I can see one of the easiest, simplest things I think is really useful here is that for any of us who've used Zoom, like having it so that you have just your webcam be the dominant thing on the screen. I think just that alone it makes this pretty useful. Because when you're doing share screen, it kind of forces your screen to become the primary one.
Right.
Is it possible to do that with a single monitor, or do you really need to have a second monitor to do the controls?
It's doable with a single monitor, but it's a pain. Okay. I would use a single monitor if I were recording a video to be putting out somewhere, like I did some of the eLearning coffee break videos, just using Streamlabs. This little button down here at the bottom records your entire session. But it really is better with a dual monitor setup so that you can see what your scenes are, and then you've got your output on the other one, which you're previewing what's actually going out. It's really hard on a single screen.
Because I think somebody who, if there's, I know there's some instructors that are really using lecture pretty heavily in Zoom. Mm-hmm. And I think that with two monitors, just a simple setup of webcam, PowerPoint webcam, just like those are the three scenes, something like that.
Yeah.
I can see that being pretty, or maybe it's not PowerPoint, maybe it's document cam webcam,
right.
thing, but yeah,
right.
I can see that.
Yeah, well, that's sure.
I already forget what the software's called. Can you say it again?
Streamlabs OBS. It's made by Logitech.
Okay, cool. Can it be used like solely for the purpose of recording a presentation?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. How can I get an account?
Yep. You don't need to make an account. You just download it and run it.
Okay.
So let me share my screen here and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. So I want to get rid of the built-in webcam. And I'm going to record, so you people, I'll be quiet, okay? Hi, everybody. I'm Ralph, and today we're going to talk about ferrets. Ferrets are amazing things, and then I want you to do the homework and make sure that you check your Canvas class. It's super important. There's a PowerPoint in there. I want you to watch it. And thank you very much. I have been Ralph Hogeboom, and this was our class that we recorded. Have a great day. So now I can open up that video, and where the heck is it? I think it's in the videos folder.
Did you just come up with that right on the spot?
I did.
That's talent.
Ralph has a real personality for television, and I'm envious, honestly. I just want him to do all the videos.
Yeah.
That's like the only talent that I have, though. I suck at life elsewhere, so I take what I can get.
I see you
You're
have
like-
a title as a systems admin. I'm not sure how you're pulling that off.
You're like a seasoned Toastmaster.
Thank you. So where the heck did I put that video? Recording should go into my downloads. Okay. Oh, there it is. I guess I can put that over there. Let's say no to that. Let's drag this VLC video over. Okay, so here's the video. Looks like it's 24 seconds long. Perfect. Nobody wants to watch me talk about ferrets longer than that.
I'd subscribe.
Oh, I had the mic muted.
Or maybe you don't have your computer audio casting.
Yeah, in Streamlabs, I'll show you where I have it muted. I didn't want to create an echo since we're also going out by Zoom, and it would be, so I just muted it, but then I forgot about that. So yeah, I mean, it made the video right there.
Cool.
There will be a second
editing.
session on how to avoid errors like not recording your voice while using the software, right?
That sounds great. I look forward to our user group forming to do this to support our lectures.
It's just us shaming each other and wagging our fingers for half an hour.
And of course, is there closed caption options with this?
I wish. That would be super cool. Nope, I think we're still in the same boat as we were before with that. I on one hand, I think, why am I throwing new software at people when they're already having to learn so much stuff? But on the other hand, I'm thinking, okay, well, we're going to be here for a while. We should get comfortable. And part of that comfort is saying, I'm gonna figure out how to do things better than I was doing it yesterday. And if I just do it a little bit better every day, my comfort level is going to start to increase pretty quickly. And so I hate to bring new software and to challenge people to learn it. But at the same time, I want to make sure that everybody has access to as much awesome tools as they can get their hands on. And if you can make use of it, great. And if not, like, keep doing what you're doing, because everybody's going to find out something that works for them.
I'm very excited about this, Ralph. I'm not an instructor or anything, but we have coordinators who have to do orientations with several students. Well, we'll have to do it one at a time now, but we could use this to do a presentation.
Yeah, you can make a much smoother presentation. And the point of that isn't to look like somebody who talks about ferrets on TV. The point of having a smoother technological presentation is to reduce friction among the people who are there to consume the content. So, I mean, that goes for everything. Like if it's bad lighting, or if your audio is low, or if there's, your neighbors are replacing their roof or something and you've got the window open. All of those things that introduce friction. Shoot, I think it was either Jeremy or Shiloh who at the beginning was saying, in an online space, the ability for somebody to just say, nah, I'm done, close, and then walk away is so much higher. And so any additional friction that you introduce between you and the viewer that prevents them from easily consuming the content you're creating, I think is a risk to losing people. And so, Stacy, like you're talking about with a presentation, if you've got a nice welcome screen, they say, oh, these people know what they're doing. They've got their act together. I'm going to stick around. And then it transitions into something. They go, oh, okay, I saw a little animation. I mean, they're not consciously thinking it, but they're thinking, okay, well, this is a place where it's worth to spend my time because they care enough to do the digital equivalent of mowing the lawn and having a nice coat of paint on the place. That's really, I think, what we're talking about here. And it is important. Like that level of engagement and the attention that you spend on people is important. We got 3 minutes left. I'm very keen to make sure we do not go over. We end on time. So anybody else have anything to share? I see Sandy Zalasko's here. Sandra's here. GHC transitions. How are you three doing?
Transitions is me, Diane. I'm just listening in to see what ideas I might be able to pass along to some of our instructors. We're also using Zoom lobbies and probably, I won't say possibly, it's getting more probably all the time. We'll be trying to use some Zoom for our orientations with students in place of our face-to-face things. So just trying to learn anytime I can about opportunities to get our students more engaged and off to a good start. So appreciate y'all doing this.
Cool. So what are you finding with the Zoom lobbies? How are they working for you?
When we can get students to use them, I think they're working fine. Certainly Heidi and Sandy are great at, problem solving and answering questions and, that kind of thing. I think the major challenge is just getting our students to, one, either have the technology that they need to be able to do that. And I know they can do it, by phone, but even just figuring out how they can do their phone, or if they have a plan where, that doesn't eat up too much of their, whatever the issues are. But a lot of our students in particular don't have technology beyond their phone and are not real familiar with how to use it, and or live someplace that even if they have internet, it's not very reliable. So so it's major technology challenges, but when we can get them to use it, it's the help is certainly easier than by text or email, or phone is our most popular option still, but the more we learn, the better we get at it.
I agree. Right now, this old technology right here is pretty useful. Like an actual phone number to call.
Yeah.
I just was on a Zoom meeting with a student down in Ilwaco, and she gets good enough internet during the day to for me to share screens, because it's like it's static images basically, but the audio kept getting cut up and garbled. So I just asked her, "What's your phone number?" And we talked on the phone, and that went through. The audio was just fine then, but and I was able to still share my screen and look at things together. But
yeah, that's a smart workaround.
Yeah, that lots of stories like that. Exactly.
Cool. Well, it's 1:15. I am going to kick you all out of my Zoom room.
I'm done now.
Before you do that, Ralph, I just want to personally thank you for hosting this session, and I want to take a minute to appreciate you and how instrumental you've been in providing all of these great opportunities for our faculty. So thanks.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed it, but can you share where I can find more information about the software and where to download it?
Yeah, I can send out a link, including a link to some basic setup tutorials, because tons of people on YouTube are using this and documenting what they're doing.
Awesome.
You don't even need to try to track me down. You can find it right now. Tons of tutorials on Streamlabs.
It's a free software. I'm sorry.
It is
free.
It's free software. Yeah.
Maybe
all right. So
sending out the recording, maybe send that out with that. So.
I can do that.
Cool.
So Jeremy's hosting next week, so he'll send out an invite for that. And thanks everybody for swinging by. This was a good workshop.